Hey guys, so here's what the trick looks like from my perspective. Alright, so let's jump right into the tutorial. So this in general is a really interesting trick, and I've decided that I'm going to teach it in progressions. So basically there's going to be 2 steps to learning this trick, 2 kind of like progressions, and I think that'll make the learning process a lot easier. So let's just jump right in. So we're going to start off in just a basic chopsticks mount like this. You definitely want the string to be underneath the yo-yo, not that, just like that. So let me just break down for you guys what's happening with this trick. Now this is a very brief and kind of generalized summary, but here's what's happening. The yo-yo is going to swing over here to your right. You're going to let go with this pointer finger. The slack is going to shoot over like that. You're going to put your pointer finger of your throw hand like that. The yo-yo is going to swing into that string right there. That's basically what's happening, but it all really kind of happens at once, which is why this trick is so cool. So let me break down the first progression. This is what the first progression is going to look like. Just like that. And so here is how you do the first progression. So again, we're in the basic chopsticks mount. Now, it's very important that when you start this trick, it's a lot easier to learn if your non-throw hand is kind of close to the yo-yo. Because if you try to do this trick like this, it's not very easy to get the slack to come around. But if you have your non-throw hand very close to the yo-yo like this, it's going to make it a lot easier for the slack to come around. So I just personally recommend keeping your non-throw hand generally kind of close to yo-yo, just as opposed to this, because this is a lot harder, in my opinion. It can be really done either way, so you can just experiment around with how close you want your non-throw hand to be to the yo-yo. Personally, I'm going to keep it pretty close. So there's a couple of things that are going on with this first progression. First things first, you want to make an L shape with your throw hand, just like that. And so once we're here, just immediately make that L shape like that, and you'll be ready to go. So for this first progression, what's going to happen is you're going to swing the yo-yo towards your throw hand, kind of like this. So just swing it like that. And the second that the yo-yo gets to this hand, so the second the yo-yo right there, the second that the yo-yo passes this hand, you want to let go with your pointer finger of your non-throw hand and immediately pinch with that pointer finger and your thumb like that. Basically, by doing that, you're forming the slack. And so this is a very kind of sharp motion, but the second that you drop with this pointer finger right here, like that, you immediately want to pinch with the thumb. So you drop it with this finger right there, pinch like that. That's gonna make the slack. And so watch what happens when I do this while swinging the yo-yo. So again, once the yo-yo has like kind of gotten to this hand right here, once it's right there, you want to let go with that pointer finger and immediately pinch with the thumb and pointer finger. And what's gonna happen ideally is a slack is kind of gonna explode out of the yo-yo like that. And so the main thing about this trick that makes it hard is timing, okay? It's really just kind of feeling for it, because if you release with your pointer finger of your non-throw hand too early, the slack isn't gonna go around. And if you release with it too late, it's just gonna get all messed up. So it's all about getting that perfect timing and getting that really nice, like snappy motion like that. So notice when I do this trick, the slack just kind of explodes out of there. And that's all because I'm swinging the yo like this, and at the same time, I'm gonna let go with this finger right there and pinch on the thumb, like that. That's how the slack just kind of forms over there. And so you may be wondering, how does the kind of L shape incorporate into this? Well, what's going to happen is when you swing the yo like this with the L shape, the slack is going to actually go over your hand. So watch what happens to the L shape when I do this trick and the slack comes over. You're going to notice that the string that's in the L shape right here is actually not there anymore. See, notice how the string came off my right hand? So that's basically what happens. Now, I don't want you guys to get confused. This is not a magic drop or anything like that. You're simply swinging the yo across your body like that, and the string is just gonna fly off the L shape like that. And so that's basically the first progression that I wanna teach you guys, just getting that slack to kind of fly out like that. Ideally, you just want this little slack right there, just kind of fly out like so. A couple tips for you guys if you are having issues with this step. Again, just really focus on that timing, mess around, releasing earlier, releasing, maybe a little bit later. Just see what works best for you so you can get the biggest slack possible. But again, just make sure you got the L shape right here. The slack is just gonna shoot over like that. And I just really want you guys to focus on how with the L shape right here, since I have this string is gonna fly off my fingers, and you gotta let it do that. So I'm not gonna like prevent the string from like flying off my fingers. It just does that naturally. So just notice how just goes off like that. And if you're still having issues with this first progression, I'm going to include a ton of slow-mo footage at the very end of this tutorial, so you can check that out and really just try to look at what's happening with my left and my right hand. All right, so now we are on to the second and final progression of this trick. So once you have this kind of first progression down, here's what's gonna happen. You're going to incorporate your throw hand into this trick. So once you've gone right here and the slack has gone off, once the yo has released the slack itself, you wanna kinda shoot out your pointer finger of throw hand and just put it under the string like that. So this happens very quickly, but once you're here, look, boom, my pointer finger shoots out like that. I'm gonna slow this part down for you guys so you can see exactly what's happening, but when the yo swings over like this, when the yo is right there, kind of at the peak of its swing, right there, my pointer finger shoots out just like that. So it can intercept the yo-yo and catch kind of like the string like that. So you should be in a mount that looks like this, where you have this loop over your wrist right there, and your pointer finger is underneath the string that comes directly off the yo-yo. Again, once the yo has swung over here, and once the string has kind of shot out like that, immediately stick that pointer finger out and go like that. All right, and now we're gonna go on to the final step of this trick, which is just getting the string into the gap of the yo-yo. So once you're right here, you notice how you have this little kind of slack right there. What you want to happen is you want the yo-yo and the slack to intersect and kind of loop in just like that. So notice with this trick, what's happening is this slack swings kind of like over here, and it's going to just go into the yo-yo just like that. And you should be in a mount that looks like this. Again, I'll throw some slow-mo on the screen right here so you guys can see exactly what's happening. But basically the slack is gonna swing like that. It's gonna swing as the yo is swinging, and they're both just gonna shoot like that. So notice how the slack is going into the back half of the yo-yo, but kind of coming from that direction like that. One thing that a couple people run into with this trick is they don't get, like, the slack doesn't properly loop into the gap of the yo-yo. And one thing that can help with that is really make sure that when you do this first step, try to get the slack to come over your wrist like that. So notice when I'm doing this trick, the slack that, like the loop that would actually go into the gap of the yo-yo is quite big. It's not that hard to miss that. But if you don't have this go over your wrist and you just kind of have it go over your hand, see how the loop itself is not as big? So basically what I mean by that is, in order to fix this problem, when you're doing this very first step and you're releasing kind of like you're releasing the slack right there, you want to make sure that the slack, you kind of want to guide it to go over your wrist like that. And you can do that by moving your throw hand kind of more towards your body. So like, notice how I do that? The slack gets way bigger and way more open, versus when I keep my throw hand kind of like in line with the yo-yo, the slack just goes like that. So make sure that when you're doing that first step right there and you swing, the slack kind of goes like that, and it goes over your wrist and almost over your arm a little bit. That's gonna make it a whole lot easier to like actually catch the slack with the yo-yo like that. And so that really is the trick. Hopefully those two progressions kind of help you guys out. Again, the first progression is just getting that slack to shoot out like that, and the second one is kind of getting the slack and putting your pointer finger of your throw hand underneath the string like that and looping it in. I personally really like this trick because I think it looks super flashy. And then once you get into this mount, there's a bunch of different like kind of things that you can do from this mount. There's a bunch of different like cool tricks that you can do and different mounts that you can get into. So I highly recommend getting this trick down and getting it smooth so you can kind of incorporate it into your own combo. All right, so one more time, I'm going to run through each step of this trick. So in the first progression, we had going into the chopsticks like so, do the L shape like that, swing the O across, release with the pointer finger and immediately pinch on your thumb like that, get the slack to swing around. Then for our second progression, what we did is we incorporated that, then immediately we pushed out our pointer finger of our throw hand. The second the slack came around and went like that. Finally, we just guided the slack into the groove of the yo-yo, just like that, and that's the trick.